finished his reflection in his eyes. And one more thing on the eyes that I wanted to show you is I do like to do a little outline sometimes around the eyes just to make them stand out. And in this case, we've got the tan color is very similar to the white. So I would like to do just a little bit of an outline. So I'm going to take some of my charcoal color. It's a little different from what we've been doing before now because we're going to make it a little string. And you do that just by rolling it between your fingers like this. It's not going to be perfect. It's going to kind of unfurl a little bit when you let it go, but that's okay because we just need to do it step by step. So yeah, just take your little string and you're going to place it, pull it taut and place it around the eye just in one little section because that's all you're going to be able to hold with your finger. And then you're going to want to get your needle, if you can see that, just right in there at the edge. So you're getting, just poking those fibers so they're outlining your eyeball. And you can kind of really just use your needle to maneuver those fibers. It's going to be easier than trying to hold it because they are so small. Alright, so I'm just going to kind of do that. It's okay if you get a little extra at one point. You can always just stick it in further and kind of hide that part. So that's the basic idea with outlining that we're going to do. So you can go ahead and do your other eyeball, but right now I'm going to show you how to do the mouth. I think it's pretty self-explanatory at this point. Now you need to choose the color that you want to be sort of the inside of the mouth color. I chose a dark blue here. I think for the Bigfoot I might use a little bit of red, just see what that looks like. We're going to do the mouth kind of like the eyeball. So I'm just going to do a little bit of felting ahead of time. And so you can take this little bit that you have and do your rolling, but you want to roll it into a flatter shape. And we can just get one end here. Just kind of needle that. Get it to about the shape that you think your mouth is going to be. It's easy if you use the needle to kind of draw that shape on your foam. Now we need to just kind of test out the size. This is looking a little big. So you can pull it up. You're going to have much looser fibers on the other end, which is fine. And we can hold it against our Yeti and see that's pretty big. So you want to just shrink it up a little bit. And you can do that just by sort of folding the shape in on itself and making it smaller. Alright, so it definitely doesn't need to be perfect when it's on the foam. It's just easier if you get a little bit of firmness in there before you attach it. It's still big, but I'm going to make it a little bit smaller as I'm poking it in. So I'm going to start kind of with the back edges, which are loose, and attaching those to the Bigfoot. So I'll kind of go around the edges here. You can see I'm not too worried about whether or not the mouth is overlapping with the fur part, because that's fine. I mean, it's up to you, but I think for a character like this, it doesn't really matter. Like, we've done the same thing here with this one. Alright, so you do want to get the fibers for the mouth poked in, and you're going to make it pretty flat because this is going to be a background element which we're going to outline, and then we're going to put some teeth on. So you can do some pretty some pretty deep pokes here to kind of flatten this bit out. Okay. Alright, and so once that's fairly flattened out the way you want it, then we can do the same process that we did for outlining the eyeball. We're going to do that around the mouth. Now what we should probably do before we do the final outlining is go ahead and get our teeth. That way if we have some of the edges of the teeth that are messed up, the outlining will kind of cover that up. So let's grab some of our whites. For the teeth, they are going to be quite small, so just you're not going to need very much for these. Now what I like to do is start with kind of a string, then I'm going to fold that in on itself just a couple of times. It really depends on the size. Once might be enough for this character. Let's do, yeah, I think once is gonna be good. Alright, and so you can see we've got a long little bit, and you could sort of tug some of that off, but this is one of the few times when I do like to use the scissors to cut it off. And sometimes I do it after I attach it, sometimes I do it before. I'm going to cut it off a little bit before. You can see it's still longer than my tooth is actually going to be. But I'm just going to roll that up again, put it against your mouth, and you can see that I've got kind of the long fibers going off toward the eyeball. I'm going to hold down the tooth part and insert these long fibers. And after I've done that, I can start needling down the tooth. I'm going to kind of go back and forth here, putting in those long fibers and then needling the shape of the tooth. So you can see it's not exactly the shape I want, so I'm going to go back over it, sort of pulling across the fibers to get them into the shape that I want, and then I'll needle over the top of it. Alright, so I think you can kind of see there that it's now looking pretty much like a tooth, and we're going to repeat that for a second tooth. I mean, you can certainly add more. I always just make them with 2 teeth. But so why don't we take a little break and go ahead and finish the outline around your second eyeball and around your mouth and give it that final tooth, and then we'll give it just a few finishing touches. So you can see I finished up with the teeth and outlining the mouth and the eyeball, and you can add you know, whatever you like to this. I think for my Bigfoot, he's pretty much finished at this point. If you want to do some last minute cleaning up, some detail work, you might just go over different parts with a very shallow needling, and that kind of cleans up some of the flyaway fibers. If you want to, if you have some really big strands that are kind of flying away, you can also take a pair of scissors and sort of just trim off some of those extra threads, but that's up to you. But yes, we're finished now with our Bigfoot, and so I will be posting some additional videos. If you have any requests for different characters that you'd like to try, we'll be posting those. And again, we have a variety of different projects that can be rather complicated, or you know, very simple little characters like this. So check back and check out my store on Etsy, where like many of these items will be for sale, and thanks for watching.